Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into a name that's been pretty hard to miss lately. UnitedHealth Group, UNH.
Absolutely. It's been lighting up the feeds, Google Trends, Wall Street discussions.
Exactly. It's this giant in U.S. healthcare, and right now it seems caught in a mix of market buzz and some real internal pressures.
Yeah.
So our mission today is really to cut through that noise. Let's unpack the facts and try to figure out why UNH is such a hot topic right now.
Sounds good. Because UNH's story often tells you a lot about the wider healthcare system, too. If you're watching the markets, you've definitely seen the name pop up. It's more than just another company.
You say it's a giant, a critical player,
Yeah.
and that feels like an understatement given its size.
Yeah.
But maybe for folks who aren't totally immersed, what is UnitedHealth Group? Why all the focus?
Okay, so fundamentally, UnitedHealth Group is the biggest health insurer in the U.S. But the key thing to understand is its structure. It's got like two main engines.
Two engines.
Yeah. You've got United Healthcare, that's the traditional insurance side, huge reach, commercial plans, Medicare Advantage, Medicaid, tens of millions of people.
Right, the part most people probably think of.
Exactly. But then you have Optum, and Optum is, well, it's different. It's focused on healthcare services, data analytics, pharmacy benefits, PBMs.
The pharmacy benefit managers, got it.
Yeah, so it's not just insurance, it's this vertically integrated setup. They have the insurance reach, and through Optum, ways to manage care, costs, data.
Which sounds like a massive advantage business-wise.
It is. Huge scale, huge advantage. But it also means they're under a unique kind of microscope, regulatorily speaking.
Okay, so this integrated giant. But despite that strength, UNH shares had been, well, pretty wild in 2025. We've seen these sharp drops, big swings within the day. The price was hovering around, what, $271 recently?
Yeah, it's been volatile. Really sharp drawdown earlier in the year, and then these big bounces.
So what's driving all that turbulence? It feels like watching a really intense match.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Well, a major catalyst for the recent surge, the big upswing, was Warren Buffett.
Ah, Berkshire Hathaway.
Yep. Berkshire Hathaway disclosed they'd taken a new stake in UNH, and, well, that just sent the shares flying.
The Buffett seal of approval, basically.
Pretty much. It forced a lot of investors to completely rethink the risk versus reward for UNH. Suddenly, it wasn't just about the headwinds, it was about Berkshire seeing value.
And that explains why it's showing up as a trending ticker everywhere.
Exactly. That kind of high-profile interest puts it squarely in the spotlight. It shifted the narrative almost instantly.
Okay, I get why that causes a stir. When Buffett makes a move, people definitely pay attention. But, how much of that is sustainable? His time frame is famously long-term.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Does his buying in actually fix the underlying problems UNH seems to be facing?
Yeah.
Let's get into the actual numbers, the recent earnings, their outlook.
Right, because the Berkshire news was like a wave of positive sentiment, but the operational stuff, that hasn't just vanished. So UNH did recently reestablish its guidance for 2025. They'd suspended it earlier, which caused a lot of uncertainty, so putting it back out there was a big step.
Signaling some confidence, maybe?
You can read it that way. They're now targeting revenue between $445.5 billion and $448.0 billion. Huge numbers.
Wow. And earnings.
For earnings per share, EPS, they're guiding for at least $14.65 on a GAAP basis. That's the official accounting number.
Okay.
And at least $16 in adjusted EPS. That's the one analysts often focus on, stripping out certain items.
And crucially.
Crucially, they're also talking about getting back to earnings growth in 2026. That's the forward-looking part.
Okay, so new targets set, aiming for a better 2026. But what about the quarter we just had, Q2 2025? How'd that actually look? Any particular pain points?
Well, Q2 revenue was around $111.6 billion, but the adjusted EPS came in at $4.08. And yeah, there were definitely pain points. The company pointed to a few things really squeezing margins. Elevated medical costs were a big one, basically. People using more healthcare than their pricing models anticipated.
A common theme across the industry lately, right?
Very much so. Plus, they mentioned Medicare funding headwinds, changes in government payments for Medicare Advantage plans.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of their business.
Okay.
And also pressure in the individual exchange business, the ACA marketplace stuff. So, yeah, Q2 wasn't just about missing forecasts. It highlighted these systemic cost pressures.
And those headlines about the earnings miss and the guidance reset, that's what really drove the stock down earlier in the year, before the Berkshire news turned things around.
Exactly. That painted the picture of a company, even one as big as UNH, really grappling with the current environment.
So Q2 underlines the challenges. Given that mix the operational headwinds but also the Berkshire nod, how's the market actually valuing UNH right now? What's the sentiment?
It's interesting. If you look at valuation metrics, UNH is trading at sort of compressed multiples compared to its own history.
Meaning cheaper than usual, based on its earnings.
Yeah, basically. It suggests the market is maybe building in some caution or perhaps sees it as undervalued given the long-term potential. It's kind of a discount signal.
But what about analyst ratings?
Well, the consensus, if you look at aggregated trackers, is still generally a buy. The average 12-month price target is somewhere up near $400.
$400. That's quite a jump from $271.
It is. But the commentary around that's pretty divided. Some analysts see a path to multi-year gains if margins get back to normal. Others are warning, hey, these cost trends, these investigations, they could keep earnings under pressure for a while.
So compressed multiples, a buy rating, but also a lot of warnings and caution. Why the fear, then, if the consensus is still positive? Is it just those headlines sticking?
I think it's a mix. The technical charts, the forecast dashboards, they reflect that uncertainty. You see choppy action, the stock struggling around recent lows, then bouncing. It feels like the market is trying to weigh the fundamental pressures against this big external vote of confidence from Berkshire.
Which sets up the classic bull versus bear debate perfectly.
Exactly.
So let's lay it out. What's the case for being optimistic on UNH right now? The bull case.
Okay, the bull case rests on some pretty solid pillars. First, just the sheer scale of UNH, massive. Second, the diversified business having both UnitedHealth and Optum gives them multiple levers.
Resilience, maybe.
Potentially, yeah. Third, their track record, historically strong cash generation over the long term. And fourth, well, we keep coming back to it, but the Berkshire stake really bolsters that strategic credibility for many bulls. They argue the current issues are temporary bumps.
Okay, solid points. But then there's the other side. What are the bears pointing to? What are the real worries keeping people cautious?
The bear case focuses squarely on those headwinds we talked about. Number one, medical cost inflation running hotter than their pricing. That's a fundamental margin problem. Number two, those Medicare Advantage rate pressures from the government. That's a direct hit to a key profit center. Number three, the lingering impact of prior operational issues. Remember the Change Healthcare cyber attack?
Oh, yeah, that was huge. Disruption, costs.
Exactly. It highlighted vulnerabilities. And maybe the biggest overhang for the bears right now is the ongoing regulatory scrutiny. Department of Justice investigations, that creates a cloud of uncertainty over near-term earnings.
So real concerns about costs, government policy, past stumbles, and regulatory risk.
Yeah. Bears see these as potentially more than just temporary problems, though it's fair to add, management is saying they see a path back to growth in 26. They talk about tightening operations, resetting pricing and benefits for next year.
So they believe they can adjust.
That's the message, yes. They think they can navigate it.
Okay, so a giant facing headwinds, management signaling a recovery plan, Berkshire adding intrigue. For someone trying to follow this, what are the key things to watch next? What tells us where this is actually heading?
All right, few key things. First, execution. Can they actually hit that 2025 guidance they just put out? That's job number one.
Delivering on the promises.
Exactly. Second, that medical cost trend. Does it start to cool off as we head towards 2026, or does it stay stubbornly high? That's maybe the biggest unknown variable.
Huge implications for margins.
Huge. Third, any news on the regulatory front? DOJ updates, settlements, anything that could impact their reserves or future guidance, that needs close watching.
And finally,
watch the analyst. Are they revising price targets up or down? Especially now, after the Berkshire news, are they changing their underlying assumptions about costs? That tells you how Wall Street is digesting all this.
okay, that's helpful. So boiling it all down, what are the practical takeaways for you, the listener, trying to make sense of UNH right now?
I think you frame it like this. UNH is fundamentally a top-tier company, a high-quality franchise, no denying that. But right now, it's facing some very real near-term earnings pressure.
So timing could be tricky.
Timing could matter a lot, yeah. The market's still trying to figure out these cost trends, the impact of investigations, how the 2026 pricing resets will actually play out. There's significant uncertainty.
Which means volatility is likely to stick around for a bit.
Probably. So for anyone who uses strategies like dollar cost averaging or is very focused on risk management, well, using tools to think through potential entry points or how to average into a position might be really useful right now, given the swings and the potential catalysts, both good and bad.
And for that kind of modeling, we actually have resources, right?
We do. If you want a full walkthrough, calculators for figuring out average price, position size, even running some what-if scenarios specifically for UNH. You can check out www.stockaveragecalculate.com.
Okay, good resource. So to wrap up, UNH seems like this classic case study.
Yeah, a top operator hitting a rough patch but attracting huge attention because of its size, the Berkshire move, and just how many searches it's driving online.
It reminds you that even the behemoths aren't immune.
Definitely not.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. How do all these different threads, market sentiment, driven by big names, the company's own forecasts, looming regulatory clouds, how do they all weave together to shape how we perceive the value of even the biggest companies? And maybe more broadly, what does that tell us about navigating the sheer volume of information in today's markets?
Something to chew on.
Definitely. And remember, for those supporting materials, the calculators, and the companion article we mentioned, head over to www.stockaveragecalculate.com.
And just the standard but important reminder, this has all been for educational purposes.
Absolutely. It's information, not financial advice. Always do your own homework, your own research, and seriously consider talking with a qualified advisor.